Hello students, welcome to lecture number 2. Here we are going to study electrostatic potential due to a point charge and electrostatic potential due to a group of electric charges. So let us start. The electrostatic potential due to a point charge. Here you can see I have already drawn a diagram. So now let me explain it. Suppose you imagine a plus charge here. Suppose this is your capital Q and the point is O, and these arrow marks represent the electric field around it. Okay, we know that around a positive charge the electric field are radially outward. Now imagine a point A here, another point B here. Suppose the distance between them is dx. Okay, and the distance between O and A is your x. Okay, so what will be the electrostatic force at your point A? Okay, so what will be that? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q. Suppose you imagine a charge here plus Q, then the force will be QQ by x square. Okay, this is the electrostatic force at the point A. And against this force you want to bring a charge from A to B. Okay, so the work done will be negative of Fe. Why negative? Because I am doing a work against it, right? Against the electrostatic force. Vector dot dx is the displacement. So now you can see negative of Fe is the magnitude and dx will be the magnitude dot cos theta. So what is the angle between these two vectors, Fe and dx? The angle is 180 degree because they are opposite of each other. So Fe dot dx dot cos 180 degree. This will be Fe minus Fe dot dx, and value of 180 degrees minus 1. So minus minus plus, right? So this will be Fe dot dx. This will be your dw. Okay, so from this we find out that the work done to move a small amount of charge from A to B by a displacement dx is Fe dx. Okay, where is Fe is the electrostatic force acting at the point A. Now you want to find out the electrostatic potential at a point, suppose P here. Here you want to find out the potential, and you are bringing a plus Q charge from infinity to that point. So work done will be, the charge is brought from the infinity to the point R. This distance is R. You can see that this distance is R, that is O to P. So you are bringing a charge from infinity to the point P, which is distant R from the origin. Okay, so this will be equal to Fe dx. It goes from infinity to R. Okay, this will be equal to your, I'm going to write here. Okay, so this will be equal to, I'm going to put the value of 1 by 4 Fe here. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon QQ by x square dx. Now this will be equal to, take the constants outside. So QQ 4 pi epsilon, these are the constants. So now dx by x square. Integration goes from infinity to R. So by applying the integration rule, we can find that this will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. So this will be minus 1 by x integrated from infinity to R. So this is the integration according to the integration rule. So which rule I have used? Just let me show you. The rule that I have used is this one: integration of x to the power n dx is equal to your x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So this formula I have used to find out this minus 1 by x. You can find out it by yourself. Okay, so now, so this will be equal to your qq by 4 pi epsilon naught minus 1 by infinity minus of minus 1 by r. Okay, so this will be equal to qq by 4 pi epsilon, 1 by infinity is 0, so this will be minus minus plus, so 1 by r. So this is the w. So this is the work done to bring a charge from infinity to a point P. Okay, so this is known as your potential energy, because we know that the potential energy is the work done to bring a charge from infinity to particular point. Then what will be the potential at P? So we know that potential at point P will be the potential energy divided by Q. So this is going to be your potential energy, right? So this is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught qq by r divided by q. So qq going to cancel, so the potential at point P is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r. So this is the final formula. Okay, so from this formula we can conclude something, some various things. That is, number one, you can see equal to V is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon q by r. Okay, so from this formula we can say that V is inversely proportional to 1 by r. Okay, and another thing is V is directly proportional to the source charge. Remember, not with the test charge. So V is directly depend upon the source charge. Okay, another thing you can see, Q is an scalar quantity and R is also an scalar quantity. So V is going to be an scalar quantity. Okay, so now we are going to draw a graph between V and E, that is your potential and your electric field. Okay, so I'm going to draw V versus E. We know that V is inversely proportional to R, whereas E is inversely proportional to R square. Okay, so you can see here it is the proportionality with R, and here the proportionality will with the 1 by R square, right? So if we draw the graph, this will look like, so for V we can draw the graph like this. Okay, decreasing. So this is the R and this is the V and E. Okay, and we can put red mark on for E, so it may be like this. Okay, this is the E graph and the yellow one is your V graph. So what is the difference between the two graphs? You can see both have same curve, but one is decreasing rapidly whereas another one is decreasing slowly. So since E is inversely proportional to R square, so it is decreasing rapidly, right? So E is decreasing rapidly whereas it is compared to V. So from the graph we can see the E is rapidly decreasing with distance R as compared to your V with increasing distance R. Okay, next we will study the potential due to group of charge. Well, electrostatic potential due to a group of charges. So let me draw a diagram. You can see, so I am going to find the potential at P, that means this point, due to different, suppose this is Q1, this is Q2, this is Q3, this is Q4, this is Q5 and this is Q6. In this way there are n number of charges around it. Okay, so this, suppose this distance R1, this distance is R2, this distance is R3, and then R4, then R5 and this R6. Okay, so imagine, suppose we have q1, q2, q3, q4 dot 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 qn number of charges around point P with distance r1, r2, r3 dot rn respectively. So this is given. Okay, now we are going to find out the potential at P. So the potential at P due to q1, okay, due to the charge on, what will the potential? B1 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. The distance, the charge is your q1 and the distance is r1. Similarly for q2, the potential will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon q2 by r2. Similarly for q3, this will be V3 is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon q3 by r3. So you can see we can find out n number of potentials, and now we are going to add all the potentials by the principle of superposition, and we are going to get the potential at the point P. Okay, so the potential at point P will be potential at point P will be V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4 dot 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 plus Bn, right? So V1 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 by r1, V2 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q2 by r2, V3 will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q3 by r3. Similarly for Rn, we can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught qn by Rn. Okay, so by using the summation part, summation sign, we can write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, summation goes from, suppose I goes from 1 to I goes to n. Okay, so what is I? Qi by Ri. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon is constant, so we can take out this one. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon summation over I goes to 1 from I goes to n. So Qi by Ri. So this will be the potential at a point P due to n number of charges around it with some distance r1, r2, r3 and rn respectively. Okay, suppose now imagine the same concept in vector field. Okay, this is in scalar field, this addition is in scalar field, right? Scalar addition. What will happen if we do the vector addition of the potentials? Let us see. Now imagine this Cartesian coordinate. So this yellow one is your Cartesian coordinate. Let me show. So this is your y-axis, this one is your x-axis, and this is your z-axis. Okay, so now suppose, so around this axis we have n number of charges, but I have shown only 3 charges, otherwise it will be more clumsy and you cannot understand it. So let me show 3 charges, right? This is your first charge on which this is the point P, right? On which we are going to find out, this is the point P on which we are going to find out the potential. So this is Q1 and Q2, and similarly Q3, Q4, Qn are around the Cartesian coordinate, around the space, right? Okay, So I have taken only q1 and q0 vectors. So suppose this is r1 vector and this one is r0 vector. Okay, so what is the distance between them? So distance between them will be r0 vector minus r1 vector. Okay, so this is the distance between p and q1. So what will be the potential? The potential will be equal to v1. v1 is the potential between the charge p and q1, right? So this is potential at p due to q1. Okay, so v1 will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon the charge and the distance between them, r0 vector minus r1 vector. Okay, magnitude part. So in vector form, for n number of charges, the potential at p will be v is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught summation over I goes to 1 from 1 to n, the test charge qi, the source charge qi divided by the distance between them, q r0 vector minus ri vector. So this will be the vector form of your potential addition, that is vector addition. Okay, so vector addition. Similarly, we can integrate also, right? Suppose you want to find out a potential at a point p due to a continuous charge distribution, right? Not discrete, continuous charge distribution. Then v will be, so for continuous charge distribution v can be written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught integration rho dB, whereas rho is your volume charge density divided by your distance. Okay, so this will be this is for continuous charge distribution. Well, this is the end of your lecture number 2. I hope you have understood it and you have also enjoyed the video. You can find the notes in the description section. Please like it and subscribe the channel. We will see you in the next video with lecture number 3. Thank you for watching.